You know, it was just kind of unique. A lot of people didn't use that kind of guitar for a rock band, especially a heavier rock band. I'll tell you, that was a real beast on tour. When you've got a bunch of Marshalls or Hi-Watts behind you all cranked, that thing would scream. It was so microphonic, and I had it padded with cotton at one point, just stuffed into the body just to cut down on those on that vibration. But I gotta say that guitar, and the 355 particularly, because it's got a little more weight to it, is such a wonderful guitar to play. Whether it's sitting on your lap or whether you're wearing it with a strap, it's got a very centralized feeling in its weight. The neck, you feel like you're just holding on to it, and it's really a beautiful guitar to play. Neck feels fantastic. You know, it's a funny thing for us to go and and watch that. You know, they were really great about wanting to give us editing, final approval, things like that. And we said, no, we don't want that. This is your film. We don't want this to seem like it's our film. It might be about us, but it's your film. You do it the way you think it should be done. And to look back at 40 plus years of your life, it's like you don't recognize those kids that were running around. It gave a nice balance and a nice story about friendship and dreams and living your dreams and working and all of those sort of things. They're great filmmakers, for one thing. Scott and Sam really know how to tell a story. All their films, all their documentaries are like that. They're really intriguing and compelling to watch. And our stories is kind of a very normal story that people just relate to, because everybody sort of felt that way and been in that place. And it takes you out of that rock star celebrity thing and just makes you just a guy who loves playing the guitar with guys who are his best buddies who also like playing guitars, and you made a life out of it. And you did all the other stuff that normal people do, had families and had kids and took them to school, and it's just, I think that's the big draw. It just makes it all so very normal. It makes it all about the kind of aspirations that everybody has. You feel like you've left a mark if you've influenced other musicians, particularly ones that you respect. And that's the other thing about the documentary. Listening to Trent Reznor and Billy and all those guys talk about what Rush meant to them growing up was really moving for us, and it still is. I'm blown away by it. And I think at the end of the day, it doesn't matter how many records you sold and how many albums you've had and how many gigs you've done. If you've inspired somebody else to do it and be successful at it, that's a very, very cool thing. The tour was really great. We had the documentary on the band came out in June, just at the start of the tour. And it was quite remarkable what an impact that had on the tour. The Tates did very well, the crowds were great. There was a whole new faction in our audience that we'd never seen before. There was much more interest on a broader scale in terms of the band and its history. To go to South America, it's always a very unique experience. We'd only been to Brazil once before. And to go back down and play Argentina and Chile as well was a real treat for us. Yeah, we finished the tour in Chile, in Santiago, and we had over 40,000 people at that show, so it was a real great way to finish on a very high note. The tour was relatively short, about 45 dates, which is short for us. Typically we do anywhere from 60 to 70, I guess. The previous tour we did 120 shows, so that was a real killer, but to finish in Santiago on a high note like that was a thrill, and we were still in pretty good shape mentally and physically. It's funny, we were planning on just coming off the road and then getting right back into writing and then recording and working on the next album, but there was a real movement to get us to continue the tour a little bit longer. So we sort of got talked into it. I mean, we were into the idea, but we'd also focused ourselves on continuing with the record. But as it turned out, we decided to make this decision to go to Europe and continue in North America and just present this tour, which we're very proud of and I think has a particularly interesting look to it. Yeah, Geddy and I just started writing recently. It's always a little bit of a slow startup. We tend to just sit around, drink coffee, and laugh a lot in the beginning, and then we get a little bit serious about what we're supposed to be doing. And now, a few days into it, we're finally getting into a groove, and we're jamming a lot, and we record everything, and kind of come back after a few days and make sure that we're not just, wasting our time.